When we, so that's Sam and I, were brought on board to help develop the Pacific module, we were adamant that we wanted to make sure that our work would take in meaningful ways the lively and justified debates around Indigenous data sovereignty and the cultural appropriateness in which HRMI were conducting the work in the Pacific. Here we acknowledge the HRMI core team and leadership who understood this and took steps to ensure that they had Pacific people leading this work, as it's not always a commitment international organizations make when they work in our region. So after some teething issues and a few delays, we are now thrilled to be able to announce that our Pacific Module Data Advisory Board, who will comprise 4 human rights defenders and advisors from across the region, whom we will work with to ensure Pacific data sovereignty principles are maintained and that the Pacific people's interests are always centered when we do this work in our region, has now been able to make its first appointments. Again, I'm going to call on my amazing friend Sam, who I've relied on a lot today, to come and talk to you all about this a bit more. So over to you, Sam.
Well, thank you, Patrick. And yes, we are very passionate about ensuring the integrity of the processes that we are conducting within HRMI, and also ensuring that we are reflecting our communities the best way that we know how. And so part of that was, as Patrick said, setting up an advisory board. And so at the moment we have got Tim Bass and Rona Lee. And part of their roles as on the advisory board is to kind of keep Patrick and I within our leadership and to accountable to ensure that our slow redesign of HRMI's existing structures and processes ensure that, that we are serving the interests and nuances across the Pacific region and our Pacific peoples as well as we can. And so part of the role of the advisory board is to provide some external review of the Pacific module design and operations, to provide advice around the integrity and of our data collection protocols, and also that they align with principles of Indigenous data sovereignty as they pertain to the Pacific as well. And also to provide advice around ensuring that the measures that we use are relevant and framed in ways that are appropriate to our people. And so there's going to be a few meetings a year in which we will meet with our advisory board, and one is going to take place after the data collection, and another one to take place before the finalization of the next iteration of our survey. And so to introduce our advisory board, first represented on the left there is Tim Bass. So Tim is an academic coordinator for Pacifica Success at the Faculty of Education and Social Work at the University of Auckland. He is Samoan, and as his work centers on the provision of academic and pastoral support for undergraduate and postgraduate Pacifica students. And in addition to that, he advises his faculty on issues of participation, retention, and completion for Pacific students through the Associate Dean Pacifica. Tim's research background is in development studies, where he has a strong focus on Pacific youth, youth agency in the Pacific, and leadership and youth advocacy. At the moment, he's quite interested in understanding different models, traditional nuances, and contemporary conceptualization of leadership in the Pacific to understand how Pacific youth exert agency within these spaces. On top of all of that, Tim is heavily involved in a number of committees and boards, including being a board member on Love Life Whānau Trust, the Otahuhu Mangere Youth Group, and the Auckland Samoa Whakawhine Association as well. So we are very grateful to Tim's expertise here that he's lending to the advisory board, and we look forward to working with him over the next couple of years. And on the right here is Rona Lee, and you're going to be hearing from Rona very, very soon. So Rona is currently the Student Welfare Officer at the University of South Pacific Samoa campus, and she's part-time teacher for the Media and Journalism School at the National University of Samoa. She's proud Samoan with Chinese heritage as well, and her eclectic work experience includes years of teaching, news presenting, co-hosting of national and regional events, and guest curator at the National Museum of Samoa. She is a passionate advocate for the rights of marginalized groups to quality education, and she draws inspiration from a poem by Famuina Filolini Maria Tafunai. And so this poem, which I'll read out to you now, O whirlwind of chaotic beauty, flowing here in expert mascara, telling dog tales, student ales, hilarious fails, with eyes that dance, laughter that binds, hero of the day, queen of the night, sharpening iron with her iron. And so Rona, we're very grateful to have you on board with our advisory board as well. And we are very much looking forward to engaging with our advisory board. At the moment, we have got 2 members, and this will be expanding as well. We are really wanting to ensure that we have got representation across the Pacific and representation and expertise as well. And so as time goes on, and hopefully by the next kind of online release that we have, you'll see how this advisory board has expanded. And we recognize that the contribution that they are making to this work to proceed ahead. And so we're very, very thankful and grateful for your contribution, Tim and Rona. And we very much look forward to working with you all as we move ahead. Thank you, Patrick.
All right. Yes. Thanks, Sam. Welcome to Rona and welcome to Tim. We're looking forward to completing the advisory board in the upcoming weeks. And we'll make sure that you're all informed when the final 2 appointments are made. And, you know, in sort of speaking to the way in which HRMI works with as many of our communities as possible, at this stage, I'd like to invite our friend Cece, who's also a key member of our Pacific module team, for an acknowledgement of our Pacific ambassadors and to express our gratitude for all the support they offer us here at HRMI and within the Pacific module team. Over to you, Cece.
Thank you, Patrick, for this opportunity for me to rave about our amazing ambassadors. So first of all, we have Broderick from Fiji, Charles from Samoa, and Jay from Niue. We met 2 years ago at the Auckland workshop, and today you are still with us. So we thank you for your patience in journeying with us, and we thank you for your support and in helping us to shape the Pacific module. And subsequently, we have more people joining us in this pilot project. Offer your courage to tell painful stories of the women in Tonga, and your work in violence prevention is truly inspiring. Diane, you were the first one who connected us to the community in Papua New Guinea. Thank you for that. Jenny, your enthusiasm keeps us going, and thank you for your friendship. And people who join us in our 2nd year, we have Hips. Yanamin, at such a young age, you've shown tremendous leadership, and we are in all of you. You are a great model to the new generation to come. And the amazing Yolene, not only did you connect us to the community in New Caledonia, you've connected us to many others in French Polynesia, Vanuatu, Papua New Guinea, and Fiji. Vihia, we learned so much from you, and we love how you stand up for Indigenous rights, and we celebrate the Tahitian culture with you. Catherine, you always give your best to HRMI's work, and we love what you do for your community and raising up the next generation of young leaders. Arimeta, we haven't met yet, but I've heard many wonderful things about you. Thanks for being willing to be part of the HRMI project. And next we have the wonderful Alu. We've gained much from your local knowledge and wisdom, and we hope that you continue to guide us through in our engagement with the community in American Samoa. Later, it's been a pleasure working with you in organizing a workshop in the Marshall Islands. Thank you for taking the initiative to connect with HRMI, and we look forward to greater collaboration. Ellie and Pasai, together we managed to produce human rights data for Tuvalu for the very first time. As challenging as it was, you've proven that no task is too big when done together. And you have a quote on your email signature that says, amplifying the soft, timid voices via rights-based approaches. I believe that because of what you do, many soft, timid voices are rising up and making their voices heard for the first time. So please continue to do what you do. And joining the Pacific Ambassador team in our 3rd year of running the survey, they are the amazing Rona. Thank you for setting up the HRMI internship program at the USV Samoa campus. You are a trailblazer in such an important development in the lives of many students there. Ben is the lawyer for over 1,000 asylum seekers and refugees in Manus and Nauru. Thank you for the important work you do. There is nothing more noble and beautiful than doing something for someone who can never repay you. And Mori from FSM, I would like to welcome our newest member who has just joined the HRMI ambassador team for 1 day. So welcome Mori. We hope to journey together with you and improve the lives of others around us. And then, last but not least, I'd like to acknowledge Sylvia, who was our very first Pacific engagement consultant. We really wouldn't be here without you sowing your very first seed. I hope you are here today to witness the fruit of your labor. This is just the beginning of what will come. Thank you so much for the valuable work you have done in continuing what you have done and continue doing for HRMI. We have not thanked you enough, and we want to let you know that your dedication is essential to the work that we do. We cannot do it without you, and we would not want to do it without you. Volunteers like you genuinely change the world, and we are forever grateful. Thank you for being an inspiration to us all. We look forward to teaming with you again and continuing to make a difference together. So with that, I'll pass the mic back to Patrick. And I believe Patrick is going to sing us a song called Without You by Mariah Carey.
Oh, Cece's got jokes this morning. So let's do some virtual applause for everybody. Thank you so much. I can't express enough how grateful we are as a team for all of the work that the ambassadors do, not just for HRMI, but also for advocating for our communities in our home countries. So we are super, super grateful for you. And also on this whole theme of gratitude, it's at this point we have some good and some bad news. You know, we've already kind of alluded to it earlier in the presentation. So I'm going to ask Roy to stand by. So as many of you are aware, Roy has been working with us for nearly a whole year and moved from Otepoti, Dunedin to Tamaki Makaurau, Auckland during her time with HRMI, and has been studying with us here at the University of Auckland. But unfortunately for us, we are now also bidding farewell to Roy in today's session as she moves on to complete her MA studies and onto brighter lights as she takes her place as one of the leaders in our communities. Roy, on behalf of the whole team, I want to offer my heartfelt thanks, gratitude, appreciation, and alofas for being so wonderful, supportive, an incredibly kind and a gracious soul. We're going to miss you. We plan to give you a proper farewell gift in person, had this launch proceeded in person like we had originally planned. However, Sam and I promised to take you out for lunch when we drop back to level 1. As it stands, Auckland's still at level 4. So we've got a bit more work to do before we can get back to the golden level. Sam and I would like to thank you, Roy, from the bottom of our hearts for everything that you've done for us. Sam, did you want to say anything here, just quickly?
Thank you so much, Roy. You've been an incredible lifesaver in making our processes running so smooth, and I don't know how we would do a lot of the things without you. Alyssa, you've got some big shoes to fill.
Well, we're all giving you virtual applause again, Roy. And so, like I did say, there is some good news as well. So as with all great cycles, when one ends, another one begins. And at the conclusion of Roy's story, I'm very pleased to be able to announce the beginning of another, taking Roy's place as a wonderful future leader in Pacific communities here in Aotearoa, New Zealand. And she's going to be taking over from Roy as the new Pacific Module RA. I will get her just to kind of say hi again. She introduced herself at the beginning, but the wonderful Alyssa Vernapula, who has been my RA for a few years, for actually over a year now, working with me on other projects, but has now also come to join us here at HRMI. So Alyssa, please step up to the mic and introduce yourself.
Talofa lava everyone. Yes, my name is Alyssa Vernapula. I am Samoan. I'm from Manurewa, South Auckland, and I'm currently half a semester away from finishing my Bachelor of Arts degree at the University of Auckland, double majoring in drama and Pacific Studies. Yeah, like Patrick said, I have been doing other RA work for him on the Manalangi project, which I also work with Sam on, and I feel so excited and grateful to have this RA position here at HRMI. I'm so excited to continue working with Patrick and Sam, and already I just feel so welcomed by the team. But I agree, Sam, I have very big shoes to fill because Roy is incredible. So I feel so grateful to Roy for helping me transition into this role, and I'm just so excited to get working. Thank you.
Thanks, Alyssa. Rory, did you want to say anything quickly before we move on?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much. That was a really nice way to sort of end my time here with HRMI. So I just wanted to thank everyone in the wider HRMI team for the opportunity to be a part of a really amazing project, especially being able to do work in the Pacific. I think that's something that I'm really passionate about, and to be able to bring data from Kiribati into the project as well was a really big highlight for me, being part of HRMI this year. And just to quickly end, I think Alyssa's going to do an amazing job, and I'm really excited to see how you go with HRMI. So cool, thank you.
Thank you, Roy.